Holy crap. Uh, hey, first off, what's going on, guys? This is X, but we're not here for that. Bandai just announced probably one of the most shocking things I was expecting today. Like, I would literally, got up, played some Xenoblade for 30 minutes, uh, went downstairs to get some Cheez-Its, and then came back, checked Discord, and there's a trailer for Battle Spirit Saga, which is apparently a more Western focused reboot of the game. I'm not entirely sure. There's not much info on it currently, but they've got the trailer and we've got the actual website pulled up. So let's actually see what the heck what they're talking about here. So let's kind of take a look at the trailer for a quick second. I hope it sounds good. A new competitive physical card game. Got actual English cards on there. Okay. All right, that's the trailer. So let's kind of take a look at this trailer a bit and kind of go through it a bit more as time goes on. So first off, if we look here, we've got a fully English reveal cards. You know, you've got the spirits, you've got the whole thing. I'll tell you right now, I don't know much about Battle Spirits at all, but I do know from a lot of people that this was a game that's really enjoyed and loved, kind of on the similar lanes of Duel Masters. Like, for people who don't know what Duel Master, who don't know Battle Spirits but know Duel Masters, is kind of like that. They're very similar in terms of the following they had, and then the cancellation that happened due to probably some issues with marketing and licensing and whatnot. So the fact that it's coming back is pretty interesting in that way. So that's surprising to me. And they've also kind of said it's now they're marketing as a new competitive physical card game from Bandai, which is coming to the entire world. So it is a global version. So one thing I say when I talk about potentially is a reboot is a small reboot or retcon or whatever you want to call it, is because of this artwork, right? I've seen someone talk on Discord about it, that this is not the actual card that has these same skills. So this is an entirely new artwork in card, but with the same skill. So that is pretty interesting how they just switched that up. Now, granted, this also could just be a placeholder, and the real card will have a new thing, but they already had the English effects, so they're gonna retranslate them. In that case, fine. Disregard the entire section. But we have just another quick thing. We have boss skills, whatever, levels, whatnot. So that is, it is for the most part Battle Spirits, but with a different what do you call it? And with a different structure to its build. Its build and its design. So it is more, right now there's been very limited full arts. All the creatures or monsters, the spirits themselves, all are full art with the actual cards on them. Again, always could change because we don't know what's going on. But you see there's some spells in the background, I'm assuming, that actually are changed. You can see kind of the frame has changed. That's what I meant to say. The frame has now changed, and that is interesting. So they are really intent on kind of making a soft reboot for Battle Spirits so that they can try again in the West, which I think is cool. I think some games should definitely get a second chance with the knowledge and understanding you have now. Bring Duel Masters back, Wizards. I don't know if I trust you right now, but bring them back. So, we go through and you check everything. And we've got Deeper and whatnot. So there's the logo, Battle Spirit Saga. Coming spring next year. So that's like March to May, June, that area. So that's like a spring game. And they've said that this comes with official cash prize tournaments. Which, I mean, yeah, it's a competitive card game. They want it to be competitive. They want to get you in the game. And so why not have this card game? I have some thoughts on that in a second. But let's come and check out the actual website. I'm probably have my camera and look at Word State to see it. But, we come here and, do a competitive game from Bandai, coming spring 2023. And they have the real trailer right here. It'll get updated time. So what is Battle Spirit Saga? A brand new card game from Bandai based on a long-running Battle Spirits trading card game. After 14 years and over 60 booster sets in Japan, Battle Spirits is finally reborn for competitive card game players around the world. Use cores to play Spirit, Nexus, and Magic cards as you take on your opponent. Are you ready for a revolutionary card game experience? So yeah, I think we see the back, and it's definitely different. We potentially might still have cores exist, so that's interesting. I know cores were kind of like the thing of like, man, that was very hard to kind of take in and use, but still have it. And so they've kind of announced the products, like a baseline sample for products. We've got the first booster. We don't know the name of it yet, but it's gonna have 12 cards in each pack and release in spring. As long as we have 4 starter decks, I'm assuming one for each of the 4 colors that Battle Spirits has. And that will also release in spring. Alright, we got red, purple, white, and yellow, and whatnot. And they will support official cash tournament prizes. Aim for the top and earn amazing prizes along the way. Full details and regulations will be announced. And all the regions for this game are going to be North America, Europe, Latin America, and Oceania. And, links to their Facebook, Twitter. So, we move back up and, let's kind of talk about this game and kind of what this means for the TCG marketplace as well. I know it's been a while since I made a non-Vanguard video on this channel for a TCG based channel, but that's just how it is. But we got some actual news on a new TCG and I want to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it. So first off, again, I think it's dope that Battle Spirits is going to get a second shot. It's a game that kind of really didn't take off, or take off the way it did, or rather it had a very, very cult following, but could never really get the the money that was there. And I'm assuming very similar to the Duel Masters, it wasn't really produced right. It didn't have the infrastructure needed to support the game in a way that was necessary. So now we've come to this current Battle Spirits. Okay, that's weird. But we come to this new Battle Spirits and attempt to try and, retry again. And excuse me, I'm sorry. Again, it's early it's early at the time there. Well, it says early, but it's 1:06 p.m. I sleep late, okay? So going back to that, you have straight up a bunch of people who are interested in trying Battle Spirits again. So that's good for those people who've been waiting for a way to play Battle Spirits, that were kind of struggling with learning Japanese or whatever, that didn't want to go into the Japanese games. So now you have a place to return to, I guess you could say. So that's cool. My problem is this is now going to be, and unless I'm excuse me if I'm leaving out your game if I'm forgetting, this is going to be Bandai's 4th recurring card game in the last 5-6 years. Right? They already have the Dragon Ball Super still going on. Digimon's still going on. One Piece has barely come out. It has barely been announced. It's barely been announced and released, at the very least, here in the West, in America, at the very least. And now they've announced that next year you're getting Battle Spirits a reboot of Battle Spirits. I don't know what's going on here, because if you're looking at like just Bandai games, this is very much kind of like them trying to like. This feels like they might accidentally like consume themselves. Like if they keep on like bringing these games over and over, like this is too close. To me, this is like just too close to One Piece releasing for it to really just be a good idea to bring this out, unless they're pretty much saying like, yeah, we're probably gonna like report One Piece more on the lost side or something along those lines. I don't know. There's also the potential that, you know, maybe Dragon Ball Super might get discontinued after a certain point. I know that sales have kind of been declining for that game as well. I don't know the details, so, you know, please, if you know more about Dragon Ball Super State, just put it in the comments, let me know, because I don't want to be like all doom and gloom or Dragon Ball Super, excuse me. You know, so, you know, and I'm not taking like Japan into account because this is a purely global release. Like JP already's had Battle Spirits, again, like they said, for 14 years, 60 sets, a bunch of collabs, Gundam, Kamen Rider, Evangelion just released a new collab, like booster. Like they have the staying power over there. So it's not JP that's the issue. It's really more so like the global side of things. So in that note, I don't know what's gonna happen to those games when Battle Spirits does release. Does Battle Spirits flop? Does Dragon Ball Super kind of take a hit? Does One Piece take a hit? One of these 4 games is going to unfortunately take a hit that I don't think anyone like really wants. Like, even though Battle Spirits coming back is good, I don't know if it's good for the community of people playing Bandai games, or, you know, playing these individual games that are in the Bandai circle, and how they're gonna deal with it. So that's a pretty kind of like worrying thing personally, but that's the thing. Now on to what could possibly happen with the actual like TCG market as a whole. We're getting to the point where I think we're like at a second, like we're kind of like a second renaissance of the global TCGs, but at the same time, there's a lot of like games that are like in such a weird position, right? Magic up to this point has, according to Physical Things, made more money in these past like 2-3 years than they've kind of had in like a single year previously, you know, give and take. So, but it also seems like people are very unhappy with the game, so it's unclear whether or not like this year that you could see like a downflux of Magic players or people buying into Magic Gathering product if they don't seem to improve, which definitely could be an issue. Then you also have YuGiOh kind of about to enter a status, probably the weirdest, like, you know, these wave of sets where they're probably in like probably one of the weirdest metas ever. Like this Power Elements, which just released YuGiOh, released a deck that was literally tier 0, and then brought in, and then secretly, because that deck was tier 0, no one noticed the other tier 1 deck right behind it, which was Tier Elements. But now that we know that's the case, both people gotten Tier Elements and gotten Splight, and they've kind of like been like going around crazy. So it's not really a tier 0 meta, but it might as well be kinda ish, you know, depending on everything. So that's kind of the thing. Also, Mathmex, according to MBT's Child Slime, but that's a different thing. So on that note, like YuGiOh is gonna be in a weird meta for a while until their ban list hits soon-ish. I don't know, but I don't expect those decks to get hit there too soon, and that would have to be like a crazy amount of representation for that to work. So that's kind of it. Then Pokemon's fine. Like, we're eventually gonna go into Scarlet and Violet, like Pokemon, once they finally start to reveal more and release more. So Pokemon's gonna be fine. It's kind of getting like a perfect spot where it's like, yeah, they're about to get into their hype Saga again. Pretty much, if we're taking non-Bandai games into account, pretty much the games that this is kind of like trying to fight for, outside the big three and Bandai games, which I already discussed, is pretty much like the tier 2, I guess you could say, games. We're talking like the Flesh and Bloods, the YuGiOhs, the Metazoos. Assuming people still play Metazoo and actually really give a crap about the actual gameplay. But those kind of like tier 2 games where those games have competitive scenes, have player bases, but also could just be only on this player base. But when a game that like probably like catches their eye, like a Battle Spirits that they've been wanting to play for years, finally comes back, it's going to take from those player bases probably, right? So that's going to be interesting. And now we're kind of in like another like TCG renaissance. Well, I don't even say renaissance. I think we're probably like kind of like the tail end of one. Maybe, I don't know, because I will say this is a surprise, because up to this point, and I might jinx it here, there hasn't been a TCG that has died. Like straight up, like even like if you say like the more like lower performing ones, ZX is still alive in Japan. I'm trying to say Build Divide is still doing well. Gate Ruler is still alive, right? There's still games that are still like moving along and could just need a push to get them where they need to be. So that's really what this question is like. Is Battle Spirits 1 going to be like produced well enough to not repeat the mistakes of the past that got them canceled in the first place? And 2, if it's allowed to stay, how does that impact the other games around it, including its own like family of games, like the Digimon, the Dragon Ball Supers, and the One Piece? Again, literally just came out not even like 5 months ago, and this has already like been announced. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I kind of just rambled around a bit, but not so. I'm interested in seeing what happens with Battle Spirits Saga. That would be pretty interesting if like Battle Spirits could come back, and I wonder if what other games could get a revival. But that's pretty much it for me, guys. Just want to make this video quick, even though it's 17 minutes long thing. I'm gonna have to edit it a little bit, but that's fine. So hey, thank y'all for tuning in. If you want to see more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.